Alright, so, people at home, I'm Dom, and I'm going to turn off the SpongeBob music. No, not default!
Maybe they don't even hear the SpongeBob music because of the, like, you know how you can't hear some of the game music on videos.
Yeah, but this is like main menu music. Um, this is another sort of. My brain keeps going to retrospective. It's one of those impression video, but I haven't. I don't personally own any WWE games, but I have got experience with them. So we also have an expert here to talk more about. Because I think Dylan's played. How many of the WWE games have you played, Dylan?
In 2K, I have played all of them except 2K13.
Yeah, so Dylan's more qualified to actually speak about the 2K games than I am, but I do have experience with them that I do want to talk about. And Dylan was there for a fair few of them. One of them being my, I'm gonna say fursona, even though it isn't a furry, being Sif Wallace, and I still say fursona because he's so goddamn hairy.
Do your subscribers even know about Sif Wallace? Because he's a
They probably
god.
don't. They probably don't know, but it's an in joke between me, Dylan, and on some level Cryptic, because Cryptic's experienced Sif Wallace. He's experienced Sif Wallace. I've actually had massive argument with him because he didn't want me to. He didn't want to add Sif Wallace into the universe mode.
Why not?
I don't know.
Was he annoyed that he lost to him?
Probably.
He beat me first, but then I beat him.
So first, I'm going to talk what I like and dislike. So I have this gripe with every sports-related game, where it is always pretty much the same game every year, but sometimes it's a little bit shittier. I think 2K20 had that sort of thing where everyone was like, 2K19's better.
I'm indifferent. Like, I always like the new ones. Like, I love 2K20, but 2K19.
The thing is, though, it's like, if you think about it, the only thing that separates it is usually just characters and character creation.
Yeah.
And like, it's annoying going from one game to another. For example, there's always one. I think there's always one wrestler is always going to be in there because that CM Punk's always been made. It's the first one that people make.
Yeah.
But like, you got to think about people got to find out how to create all these other wacky characters for like just random dumb shit. And in the end, sometimes they don't end up looking that good, which, Handsome Squidward looks like he's been punched in the face.
I mean, I thought it was more like a door, but
No, but Handsome Squidward looks like he's got a black eye, that's what I meant. Because he's got like a black blotch on the side of his face. That's not handsome. That's, beaten up. But it's sort of the same gripe I have with most sports-related games, where I just don't like the fact that they release the same game every year and pretend it's different. Like, I even have, on some level, a gripe with Call of Duty for that, which I won't get into because this isn't a Call of Duty-based video, even though I'm playing SpongeBob Mario Kart. But it's one of those things where it is just the same game every year. Yeah, they got maybe different characters, or in Call of Duty's case, different guns, but it's still just, poo-poo shooter game. But in wrestling's case, it's just a wrestling game.
Well, at the same time, though, every single game they release a new kind of story mode with it.
Which they do with Call of Duty as well, but, it's still a wrestling game. Just because it has a different campaign doesn't mean...
I don't play Call of Duty.
You can have different opinions on it, but sports games are sort of on their own level of the core gameplay. People don't play a sports-related game for the story. But yeah, so Dylan, what about you? What do you like about the game? What you dislike? What are your experiences with WWE games as a whole?
Okay, so the first ever WWE game I played that wasn't 2K was SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. And what I've noticed is the gameplay mechanics, even though the controls are generally the same, but the game seems a whole lot different. Like, it is so different, but at the same time, it's so similar.
Yeah.
For one, I think the graphics get a lot better with every game, even if it's ever so slightly. Like, I would say maybe 2K19 and 2K20 looks the same, but it was better than 2K18 and 17, so 17 was weird. But the games don't always get better when they come out. Like I would rather play 2K like 16 than maybe 2K17 because they had a whole bunch of characters in that. Like for one, it was the characters. I'm just balling it here. You put me on the spot. But yeah, one thing I don't like is that half the time when someone leaves like they're in real life company, they remove their character from the game for no reason. It's not like I would understand if they had bad blood with the company, they don't want to promote them anymore, like someone like Dean Ambrose. But whenever Santino Marella had to leave because he was injured, they just removed his character from the game altogether.
Yeah, I can't see why that's a bit wrong.
Yeah, and like, I would mainly the only reason I would play 2K16 is because I like Santino Marella, and I have a whole bunch of legends in that game as well. I can't exactly remember the story mode all that well. I think it was it was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon was the story mode from like back in the 90s. That was a good story mode. I like that story mode.
But you said about them removing characters, but like if someone has died, then they don't remove it, right?
They don't remove it, no, but you will have to pay for some of them. Yeah, you'll have to pay for some of them.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this guy isn't dead, and this is back before he even retired. I'm talking about the Undertaker. To the point where you had to. It's not like even though he was still a wrestler.
You would have to pay for the Undertaker though. Like they couldn't really remove the Undertaker because when you think of wrestling, Undertaker's one of those characters though where even if you know nothing about wrestling, you know who the Undertaker is.
He's a character that you don't have to pay real money for. You have to pay like after winning a couple of matches. Yeah, you have to win a couple of matches and then you get them. I think it's called VC points.
Yeah.
And then they did it with Daniel Bryan as well. Whenever he got injured, he had to leave. He was still in the game, but you had to pay for him. But the I don't know. Like, well, that's all for the characters. But then there was a thing called 2K something else. Forget the name of it. It was like the story modes. The last one they did was in 2K16, then they didn't do it for 2K17 and then 18, and a lot of people were annoyed at that. They had to bring it back for 2K19. And that one in 2K19 was the story of Daniel Bryan, because he eventually got back into wrestling over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do his whole story from NXT to the main roster to him being injured to then his return, which felt pretty nice because they even had him talking out of character because they always explain about the stories and stuff. And now in this one they have the story of the Four Horsewomen, which is Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, because they started promoting their women wrestlers more.
Yeah.
They have their own, the whole female Royal Rumble. They have their own pay-per-view. I don't even think, now that I think about it, I don't even think that the map for the women's pay-per-view is actually in this. Now that I think about it. I haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, do you play women's matches?
I do, yeah. Like me and Aaron sometimes will get on the thing, we want to do some women's matches. Like they just for some reason, I don't know why, but it just seems like they didn't put a lot of work into their characters' appearance. I call them the characters, the main game characters. Like Alexa Bliss's face is just, from what I remember, because it's been a wee bit since I played as her, but it's really strange. It's a little bit off. There's something off that just doesn't feel right about it. But like, I'm looking at Braun Strowman here. He looks like really good. Like it looks like they put a lot of work into him and to a lot of them. But then you see Alexa Bliss. It seemed to, like, as in they put a lot of work into their current big stars at the time. Like at the time, Becky Lynch is a huge star whenever this game was made, and her character has like a lot of details in it.
Yeah.
But Alexa Bliss just seems a tiny bit off, because I don't think she was doing much of this stage, I can't remember. Because it get really confused with the years.
So, there's one thing where I've heard this about just wrestling in general, because obviously the conversation is going to turn to wrestling quite a bit, because it is a wrestling game. So experiences are going to be pretty much tied to what happens in the real life equivalent of it as well. When it comes to like female wrestling and male wrestling, like, do you find it funny at all that people attribute, you know, oh, men only watch wrestling for the female wrestlers when, as you said, it's only really just become more, you know, what's it, shown?
I mean, they were always shown like as female wrestlers, but they're finally getting a lot more attention. Like, for example, there was only the Divas Championship, right? That was the only title they had. Like, for the men, you had the WWE, Universal, United States, Intercontinental, the tag team.
I mean, I know it's not like, I know it's just a jokey belt, but the women also had the 24/7 championship. Everyone has that.
Yeah, anyone can do that. But the thing is, now they've eventually brought in the women's tag titles.
Yeah.
But they're not even doing a good job with them. Like right now, it's Asuka and Charlotte Flair who have the titles, but they're not even like really defending them much. They're just like fighting in singles matches in their own feuds. We keep talking about real wrestling. I keep forgetting we're trying to talk about the game.
I mean, it does, as I said before, it does kind of tie into the game. Like, real life experiences will tie into how you play and like and just what you enjoy about the game in general.
Okay, well, yeah. To be fair, now in the game, I don't know if I'm gonna actually leave the match that I'm doing, because I'm gonna look at the stuff that I'm talking about. So let me just see here in 2K20, the latest of the games. Do they have the women's tag titles? I think they do. Oh yeah, they do. But even though this is tied into the real one, like, that's the only. There's a couple of titles for women in this, but that's because they've brought in the older belts as well for you to play with. Like, a title that doesn't exist anymore, like the $1 Million Championship. You can still use that for people, but I just have that on the original guy. But for the women's superstars, I'm going to list all of the women's titles here. I have a couple ones downloaded from like the Cosmic Unbelievers. We have the NXT Women's Championship. Okay, that's good. And then you have the NXT Women's Championship from 2013 to 17. And then you have the Divas title. Then the Raw and Women's SmackDown Champion, or the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Then here's the thing: it went at 2010 from 1998 to 2010. They had the Women's Championship, and then it turned into Divas, and then now we have the Women's Tag Titles.
Yeah.
But currently, it's hard to talk about this without talking about the real thing, because we're here to talk about games, but like.
As I said, it all comes down to your just experiences with the game, and because it's WWE based, it will tie in with like actual experiences as well.
Different games might be easier to talk about, to be fair. But that's just, if I'm not talking about the ones that I have downloaded from something, the amount of women's titles there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 women's titles originally in the game. And then on the main, and I have a couple men ones as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 45.
That's a lot.
We have 45. And like, you don't even use them all. I don't understand why they have all of them.
It's probably because in case people want to use certain ones.
Yeah, like maybe put like the old one on an older character, but like it's just 7 to 40 something. I don't know. I already lost count. Now I'm gonna look at the
45, I think you said.
Yeah, something about 45. Okay, I'm gonna look. Yeah, there's something. It just. I'm looking at Alexa Bliss here, like I was talking about. It's like if something feels really off, and I could be wrong. Like I could be really wrong here. But something just, in my opinion, just feels off. And then I look at someone like Becky Lynch. Like, once again, it doesn't even look like too much work went into her, but it looks a lot better because I think she was currently a big star at that stage. Yeah. But then I'm looking at the men now. Now they look class. Like they look, a lot of work has gone into them. Okay, and then I'm looking at Bianca Belair, and you know, it looks like a good amount of work went into her. But then I'm looking at something like someone like Billy Kay, and then right down to Bobby Lashley, and all the men. And then here's Booker T. You can literally see the smallest wrinkles in him. He's an older guy. You can see all the slight wrinkles on him. And then I go to someone like bloody, I don't know. See, there are some that look like a lot of work has gone into them.
Yeah.
Like here's Carmella. Oh, there was not even in this game. I don't think it was this game. It was this game. Lana has shoulder length hair, right? She's never had shoulder length hair. In real life, she's never had shoulder length hair, and in this she has it. That's confused everyone, including her in real life. They didn't even try to get her natural hair.
Yeah.
Like she has like hair down to, I'd say, her waist or something. But in this game, her hair is literally at her shoulders. Now it doesn't make any sense.
It's one of those things, really, where they are going to capitalise off of what's popular. That's what they do in any game.
Yeah.
Which can also come back to like why they would remove a wrestler that isn't in the thing anymore, because they're not as seen. Unless they're, you know, as like, you know, The Undertaker is iconic enough that even if you have never watched a wrestling match in your life, you will know who The Undertaker is.
Yeah, like I'll doubt.
Because it is The Undertaker. It's like, I mean, obviously John Cena and Dwayne The Rock Johnson have also dabbled in acting, and it's like, oh, you can hear these names. But John Cena, you know, you know that from wrestling. Undertaker, it's like, if they removed them, you'd kind of be like, that's a bit sus.
The only possible person that you could say you know them from something other than wrestling is The Rock.
Yeah, well, Andre the Giant.
I only ever knew him from wrestling. I only know about that one movie you told me about.
The Princess Bride.
Mm.
There's also John Cena. Like, he voiced that cow or whatever.
I'm gonna look on the VC purchasables, to have a look at see who's you need to pay for. Because I've got them all, so I can just look at all their names. Number 1, Andre the Giant. You had to buy him with the. This is all in-game currency that I'm talking about. But Andre the Giant, you had to pay for him, and then I can't remember. No, never mind. This one doesn't matter. Then you pay for Big Batista, Beth Phoenix, Big Boss Man. See, a lot of these, you know, make sense.
That's what I was thinking. Batista's been in a bunch of movies.
Oh yeah, he was like Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy from that.
And he was in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Where he played as Santa. Okay, or that might have been Goldberg.
This doesn't make sense to me. They made you purchase Kurt Angle from 2001-2006. That didn't make sense to me because at the time he was actually still a wrestler. Like he was still wrestling part-time. He was a part-timer, but he was a constant character as the general manager of Monday Night Raw. So I can understand purchasing 2001, but they made you purchase 2006, which he practically looks the exact same. Then you had to buy Mr. McMahon, which makes sense, I guess. But then it comes to people like, let me see, it takes a while to find something. Yeah, like here's down at the very bottom, the last one on the list is The Undertaker. Yeah, you had to purchase all 3 versions of him.
Well, that is very understandable, in my opinion, because, you know, as I said before, he is so iconic that, you know...
Yeah. See, I understand purchasing the 2002 one where he was like a biker, and the original 1991, but I don't understand the current one.
See,
because
as I said before, it is because the Undertaker, just as a name, is iconic.
Yeah, but he wasn't retired yet. He was still like someone who would wrestle.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's retired or not. If it's, you know, if it's someone that is iconic enough, they will make the fans pay for it because they're capitalizing off of what they're capitalizing even more off what's popular.
Yeah, but like I said, this is just in-game currency where they're not like.
But I mean, either way, it does show that they are still even if it is in-game currency, it does show that they're still thinking about, you know, if they ever did choose to, you know, for example, Bray Wyatt in 2K20. Bray Wyatt was, you know, I think I was me and Cryptic in particular both just really enjoyed Bray Wyatt in general.
You mean the Fiend?
Yeah. So, and you had to buy the Fiend.
Yeah, with actual money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because obviously that's not the same as the in-game points, but as it says, like, either way, you can kind of see that they're using what is popular. So buying the Undertaker using in-game currency just shows that they're still thinking about the fact that he is that iconic that you should have to earn the right to play as him, not have him straight off the bat.
See, here's what I don't understand that much. The Fiend you have to purchase with real money. I didn't get that because I understood when it came to, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was either 19 or 18. I can't remember which one. Where they had Rey Mysterio and Ronda Rousey as like purchasable ones. Like or if you pre-ordered it. We got it pre-ordered, so I didn't have to worry about paying for them. But
I think Bray Wyatt was a pre-order as well.
Yeah, or you had to purchase him. Because I didn't get this one pre-ordered and I bought him the other day, so... but I understood Rey Mysterio and Ronda Rousey because when that game came out, they had, like, Rey Mysterio had only just come back and Ronda Rousey had just joined WWE. But The Fiend had been around for a little bit, to the point where I'm actually a little bit confused of why you had to buy him.
I think it's because, like, yeah, he'd been around for a little bit, but, you know, it was still quite a big thing.
Yeah, I would think it would be a decent amount, but he didn't have the purchase.
I think The Fiend was kind of just a whole big thing, though.
Yeah, it was. I'm also annoyed a
everyone
little
likes
bit
The Fiend.
Yeah, but I'm also a little bit confused on why you only were able to get The Fiend and not, like... Because the funny, happy Bray Wyatt that basically turned into The Fiend now had basically been in fights himself. So I don't understand why you didn't get a version of him. Like, I would have expected one.
I think you do. I'm not sure.
You don't. You get to see, in the game already, you had the original Bray Wyatt, the one that everyone knew about, you know, the Firefly... Not the Firefly franchise, you know, the one that was like, the Wyatt family... You know, that guy. If you, I don't know.
I don't know that much about wrestling.
Yeah,
so.
But basically, before he became The Fiend, he had a different character that he went by for years. He's in the game for free. You can play with him, no problem. But I don't understand that because I figure if he's become a new character, wouldn't he be a VC purchasable?
Not all of the time.
I don't know.
I think that's the other thing though, because people don't want to play as that Bray Wyatt. They want to play as The Fiend. They're just playing as that Bray Wyatt. That people were playing as that Bray Wyatt, you know, as a placeholder. Yeah, so you've never had any experience with the fact that even after you've bought something for a 2K game, that you have to then sort of earn it.
No. Oh no! Wait, yes. Sort of. And I was thinking about it. I remember I told you I got The Fiend, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to play as The Fiend immediately. Now they advertised it as in you could. The only thing that was on the screen of like what you were going to get was The Fiend. Now they said that you could. It was going to give you a couple other things, like a couple of maps and a couple of events, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the only thing you were able to get immediately was the events. You had to finish those events to be able to play as the Fiend.
See, I don't really get that. Like, for some games, it makes sense. Like Bloodborne, you know, by DLC, you're not going to give you the weapons instantly. You have to earn them.
Yeah, but like I paid for the Fiend, and like in the event you could play as the Fiend, but you had to go through 10 superstars in a row without losing to be able to actually keep him to play by yourself. Now the event was easy enough, but you don't want to know. You normally don't want to have to do that.
It's like it's not you know, it's not all people are actually good at those sorts of games. For example, I am a great example of this because I suck at most games that I play.
I know.
Even in this gameplay that's in the background, I've fallen off the exact same point of the map 3 times in a row.
Now, onto everyone's favourite subject of 2K20, glitches.
I mean, glitches can be pretty funny.
The glitches, oh my god, see, it's weird. Like, if you're playing with your...
I think this happened with Cryptic. I've got this one to explain. Obviously, you've got a couple that I know of as well. But it was a Royal Rumble, and I can't remember which wrestler did it to who, but one wrestler got, you know, body slammed into the middle of the ring. You know, he could get up from that. He hasn't been thrown out. It's you know, but then he clipped through the fucking bottom of the ring. So it threw him out, but because he wasn't supposed to clip through the bottom of the ring, he kept trying to pop back up. So in the middle of the match, you just saw this, like, it pretty much looked like a corpse just flailing about in the middle of the ring, where you have Handsome Squidward on one side and Elmo on the other going at it. And then all of a sudden, Chad Gable comes in and just fucking chucks Thanos out.
Yeah, but a couple of glitches. Do you remember there was one with the Fiend? I actually thought this was just a funny glitch that happened to anyone. But it was whenever me and Cryptic were fighting.
Yeah, with Sif Wallace.
Yeah, where as Cryptic was playing as the Fiend, tried to throw me into the ring, but he ended up chucking me the entire way through the ring. Like, I was on the right hand side and he threw me in, but my character rolled really quickly all the way to like the left hand side and out the other end. That was too funny though.
See, what I want to see, like an edit of, is that clip if you can find it. But then, you know, the Neil deGrasse Tyson. Meow.
I mean, I have the video if you want me to send you the clip.
I mean, you can if you want to. We could do that afterwards. I'm gonna have to edit this to sort of cut down the view times. We both have rambled on.
I know, right? But the bits that my first ever match in 2K20, I remember it specifically. I was playing as the Undertaker because Undertaker. And I was facing Kevin Owens. I actually recorded it and put it on YouTube myself. Where I was literally going on, and I remember seconds before this happened, I was like, I haven't experienced any glitches yet. The game seems fairly good. So I went. You do know what Undertaker's old school looks like, right?
Kind of vaguely.
He wraps his opponent's arm around, and then he climbs onto the ropes.
I don't know any of the moves.
Well, basically that's what he does. He like wraps his opponent's arm, or like twists it. Then he climbs onto the top rope. And then just walks across a little bit like a tightrope, and then just like basically just jumps down onto the opponent. And I went for that move, and it went okay. He got to the top rope, but the next thing you know, he was just floating in the air. I remember I was like, yeah, I don't see any glitches yet. Oh, and he was actually, you know, he was in the air. I don't remember exactly what happened. I think he just came right back down. Yeah, because I think they were just both floating in the air. Cause like I could just imagine Kevin Owens' arms stretching. I thought long, but yeah, they were both in the air. Then they just flashed right back down. I had no more problems with it during that. But if you know anything about 2K20, you've seen the glitches online, how bad they can be.
If you know anything about any game, you've seen the glitches.
Yeah, like in this game, like I didn't have any. That was like the only one I ever really had a problem with. To be fair, I didn't have any other. Oh wait, yes. There is a problem right now when you play Royal Rumbles, where I've hardly ever been able to finish a 30-man Royal Rumble. Well, not as in like I always lose, as in the middle of the match, the game just cancels, it fails. You know the thing where it's like an error has occurred?
Yeah.
Mostly when I'm doing a Royal Rumble. And there was a time, yesterday or the day before, I just won a Royal Rumble. I had to play a 10-man because I can't play the 30-man because of that problem. I just won, but then the game cancelled.
I don't like it when that happens.
Yeah, I know. And for some reason in this game, they've randomly changed the reversal thing, and a lot of the controls actually. Like, it went from triangle to use your finisher and signature to having to press square and X at the same time. And then from R2 to reverse something, you have to press triangle. Now, those don't make any sense because there was no reason to change those. And then if you try to play the old ones, you're going to get confused.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember? I think you and me played it where, like, because I'd played 2K19 so much with Cryptic and you via share play, like, I just couldn't get the hang of the controls because they changed.
Yeah, I know. There was no reason. There's nothing added to the game where you need that to happen.
Didn't they change it so, like, the counter went from triangle to R2 or something?
Other way around. I just said that.
Yeah. Sorry, brain.
R2 to change. And then it's also strange because when I remember my first ever time playing a 2K game, I remember the match specifically. I was playing as I was actually playing as Brock Lesnar, and I was actually facing against the Undertaker. See, I had played SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and I won that my first ever match there, no problem. Because basically the controls just felt right, if you know what I mean. Like, everything just felt normal. I immediately went to 2K17, and the controls were basically the same, but without warning, they had changed the pin kick-out bit. And they didn't do the kind of thing where they would give you a tutorial during your first match, if you know what I mean. See, from what I remember, it was in 2K, and like SmackDown vs. Raw, the way you kicked out was if you were in a pin, you had to hold the button until the meter went up, and you have to try to hit the specific part to kick out. But now in these games, it's gone from that to a circle, and the thing moves by itself at different paces. Like, the more hurt you are, they make it they make it harder.
Yeah.
Then you have to try to press the button at the right moment. Well, that happened without warning, so I lost that match immediately after when I was put into the first pin, because that didn't make any sense to me. That was new. I was expecting to have to hold the thing, so I held the button immediately and basically cancelled my first one. And then I just couldn't figure out what was going on, so I lost that match.
Yeah, it kind of sucks when that happens, because sometimes they just throw you into it, expecting you to know new controls.
See, I feel like they would have expected me to basically play all of the games up to that, so they might have, put that into a different game. Because it's the theme in 2K16, and I think they actually did do a tutorial bit in that one, so I think they expected me to play that one first.
Yeah.
Now here's one thing. The one glitch, and you've heard me complain about this a lot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Is the title glitch.
Oh, where you can't get rid of someone's title.
Yeah. And like, it's on 2000's Undertaker for me, where I decided to play a championship match with him and have him win the WWE title. Then, like, the way, whenever you play these games, you sometimes put a bit of a story into your head, where you want to do specific matches to make it feel like a story.
Yeah.
And so I had him win the title, and then in my head I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have him defend the title a couple of times, then he's going to lose it to someone else. Right? And that's how you do it. And it came to the part where I had him lose to, just for the hell of it, was just say Kurt Angle. Because I don't remember who it was. So Kurt Angle wins the belt, and I wanted him, and I was going to do a couple matches with Undertaker facing Kurt Angle. But then Undertaker came out on his bike, and I could just see the title underneath his thing, because he wore like a biker bit where it was just going down. But you can see the title was still on him, and I was like, did I accidentally forget to take the title off? Like me, did I forget to actually set the earlier match as a title match?
Yeah.
And then Kurt Angle came out, and he had the title on as well. So the two of them had the belts on, but Kurt Angle was the champion. And I went to the roster thing to try to see if Undertaker still had the belt on him and what was going on with Kurt. But no, Kurt Angle was the champion. And I'm just saying Kurt Angle just for the hell of it. And then I decided to go on, I went on a match as the Undertaker again to see what was up. And he still had the belt. And that's been going on for months. Like, I remember that happened in 2K 17 or 18, and I never had the problem in 2K19, so I expected the problem to be fixed. Like, for example, in 2K 18 or 17, like I said, I don't remember, it happened twice, where Dean Ambrose constantly came out as the United States champion, and then, this is the one that annoyed me. As a joke, I decided to make Kane the Cruiserweight champion, as a laugh. But the next thing you know, the glitch happened, and Kane is constantly coming out as the Cruiserweight champion, where he's like over 300 pounds. Like nowadays, you can't actually put the belt on the bigger guys; they're only for the cruiserweights. But like that really annoys me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nearly all my experiences with the games.
Anyway, guys, that has been mostly Dylan's impression, because every now and then I'm going to bring in other people to show what their experience of the game. And this is going to be heavily edited, obviously, because like this probably went on for like 40 fucking minutes. But it was interesting to have these conversations with someone who, you know, I've had experience with the game. For example, Minecraft is an area of expertise for me because I fucking love Minecraft. Dylan can tell you, I on worlds I've spent hours on, and I just become fucking god.
Yeah.
Like any world that I put effort in, I end up becoming Jesus. Like, for example, in the survival world, I've literally got a hole that if you jump down it in fully enchanted diamond armor, you would die. But in the armor I have, you jump down it and you only take like 3 hearts of damage.
Oh, that's that one where the
The big hole. You know the one that's like, okay, you gotta take off your armor, we need to go back to spawn, but it's quicker to jump down the hole.
Yeah.
But we have to take off our armor, otherwise we have to climb back up the ladder again. But by the time you get up the ladder, your health is already healed because there's a beacon that has regeneration.
Yeah, it's like whenever, like, remember we used like the Elytra and fireworks to beat the Ender Dragon.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's fun.
I got the killing blows. That was cool.
Yeah, that was. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna edit this and I might put it up at some point soon. These videos aren't gonna come one after the other like they have been at the moment. It's just been like when I've got an idea of something I want to do, I just really wanted to do it. Because specifically, because it's like Dylan could talk about WWE for ages, and I kind of want to have this conversation with him. So thank you, Dylan, for joining us. Dylan, do you want to plug anything while you're here? Do you want to do a shameless plug?
No.
Alright, that's good enough for me. See you guys whenever can I be bothered to make a fucking video. Bye! Dylan, say bye.
Bye.